Happy expectant Father's Day gift. Tell us about the rocking the baby there in the pool and just what it means to you on Father's Day when you have a baby on the way. And I have a follow-up too, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that really doesn't make sense to me yet. Is like, Father's Day. I feel like is a holiday to celebrate all of the things that fathers have done for their kids, and I feel like I've just been helping Mel out, and so I don't know. It hasn't really process. I feel like I haven't earned it yet, but next one will feel like a real one for sure. I think after diapers and late nights and stuff like that. But right now it's like kind of for fun.
How far along is she? And do y'all know yet a boy or girl?
Yeah, we it's going to be a boy. Yeah, so it's exciting, and so I don't remember the week count right now, but she's I think due in mid-September. So still a little ways, but. Yeah.
Sorry to hog, but can you just tell us about balancing a 9-to-5 job and what you do?
Yeah, I mean it's really easy when everyone's kind of on board with what you do and the method you go about doing it, because Rhodey and the SMU staff and kids have been super accommodating and very flexible, and sometimes if work gets in the way of work calls, meetings, whatever, and I need to come in at a different time, Rhodey's there or Keith's there or I'm with Ozzy sometimes. So it's kind of a group effort, I think, in the pool. And then, obviously in work, they know that, I'll get my stuff done, and my hours may be a little different than other people's. And I've definitely answered texted waits being like, hey, can I get this back to you in like an hour or so? And they're like, yeah, no rush. And, you do you. So they kind of let me know when things need to get done by, and I kind of work around that schedule. So yeah, I can't thank them enough for kind of giving me the opportunity and something to kind of balance me out. And I think when it comes to the flexibility they've given me, it's been better than I could have hoped for, and I owe a lot to that.
Lane?
You sort of answered some of the questions that I was going to ask you, but in regards to your wife, you've obviously been through a lot of these meets together with her where maybe there's been one disappointment and one happy one. And is this the first Olympic trials where one has truly just been watching from the stands and you're not both competing? And what is that like for you two?
Yeah, well, that might be, I guess, a better question for her. But I mean, it's great because I know she's always supported me at these meets and been my biggest fan, and that's never been in doubt. And vice versa, I was always her biggest fan, and we were always excited for our successes, and I think we always felt our disappointments too. So I think we did a good job of, when we were both competing, kind of doing what we had to do, and then I guess compartmentalizing that in a way. But yeah, I know she was. She's probably more excited than I am about tonight's results, and knowing that it's really a great feeling and awesome to have someone in the stands who roots for you like that. But and it's also cool because she knows what it's like, and it's in a sense she's here with me every step of the way, and even on to Paris she'll be there because she knows kind of what all the steps are, and I get to share those things with her, and it's really cool in that sense.
Hi, Maggie Hendricks from Olympics.com. It's really hard for me to understand how you balance, so can you take us through like what a normal week looks like for you with everything you're balancing?
Yeah, I'd say so I try to get 1 or 2 doubles in a week in the pool. So that's what, 6 with a day off, so 7 or 8 workouts a week, and those can range from an hour and a half to 2 hours, and then I got 3 weightlifting sessions, and then depending on the part of the season, we added like a little bit of dry land here and there, and when I'm not doing those things, I try to work. So I tend to get up pretty early, so if practice is because it can range in the morning from like 6:30, where I'd get up and go straight to practice, but if practice is at 8, then I still get up at 6:30, and maybe I try to work for an hour or so, get things ready before even the East Coast people wake up, and then I come home and work throughout the day, and it's really nice because I just reheat lunch and make a quick breakfast. So I mean, it's pretty streamlined in that I eat, at my desk and everything, and I go to weights and practice, and then I come home and I try to do some work too. So I joke that it's a 9 to 5 when it's actually kind of anything but that, in a sense where I have 3 separate work sessions throughout a day, and it's definitely as a kind of, like I said, flexibility wise, it's been great because they kind of expect me to get stuff done, and but not at a certain time or whatever, and I try to make as many calls as I can, but I guess that's kind of a typical week, and try to get 30 to 40 hours in. So a little less coming into this week, but I'm still trying to do as much as I can because they're doing me a solid. So.
Hey Nick, this field looked very different than it did in 21. So I'm wondering, can you just take us through your process of even prelims and semis as well as the final, of how you navigated things and where you were at physically and mentally, as well as kind of keeping your eye on where everyone else was at just coming into the final, knowing that maybe the times being put up and the athletes were very different than they were in 21.
Yeah. I mean, now that I'm 30, it's kind of rare to see faces that I swam against in 2016. So, that, and then 2021 is, there's always a different group, and year by year it changes. And I'd say coming into it, you ideally want to, be good, better, best in your first 3, and that's something I try to stick to. And I had, kind of an off swim in the semi. I think I didn't get off the blocks very well, and I tried to make up that ground pretty quickly off the bat, and ended up spinning my wheels and stuff like that. So I think all the stuff that was happening kind of throughout prelims and semis, I knew I could adjust and kind of create and get a little better. And I think times are certainly important, but at the end of the day, it's getting your hand on the wall first so that you can qualify and kind of get the monkey off your back like that. So and I think you never really know. I think you can kind of guess, make a educated guess on who's going to be in what position and where they're going to be, but it's the Olympic trials. It's trying to qualify for the Olympic Games. You never really know who's gonna qualify. I think we've had enough surprises already in the meet to justify that. So it's not really kind of hyper focusing on any one competitor or any 2 competitors or who you think might make the team, who might push you, whatever. It's literally it's anybody's race. And I think with as even of a field as it kind of was going into the final, you kind of had to not take anyone for granted and really respect, I guess, the other breaststrokers in that heat.
Greg Eggert, World Aquatics. Nick, congratulations.
Thank you.
Consistency, resiliency, something you're very well known for in the pool, but you have encountered in the last year and a half incredible changes: employment status, education, location, coach, training partners. How have you adapted just so well to that?
Marriage. Can't forget about that. It's been a lot of fun, and I think since 21, I went to school, got engaged, got married, bought a house, sold a house, moved states, new coaches, new training partners. So it's been a lot of change, and I think the changes, I've been embracing them along the way, and I think after 21, I told myself that life wasn't gonna, or swimming wasn't gonna get in the way of life anymore, and I really wanted to kind of find a better balance, and I think personal growth and development was, I'm an old man in the sport. I'm 30, and I was ready to start doing these other major things, and I think it's really easy to do these changes, and when you have such supportive partner, supportive family, and coaches that I used to work with that still reach out, still want to help I can still ask for advice. And because even though I moved from Georgia Tech to SMU, Rhodey's been great in kind of helping facilitate that change. But I talk with Mike Norman all the time, and Jack calls me now and then, and it's still a collaborative effort, I feel like, and even though it's different faces and different training partners, it's you bring the same consistency on a daily basis, and at the end of the day, nothing really changes. It's just different workouts or different environments, but at the end of the day, it's just bring your best, doing what you think you need to do from an effort perspective, mentally, physically, emotionally, to get yourself ready for competition and things like that. So I think kind of embracing the changes and not letting them rattle you, and kind of rolling with the punches in that sense. Maybe that was a bad way of phrasing some of those things, but
David and then Henry.
Nic, you've talked about how you weren't really sure after 2021 what was going to happen with your career. You'd made the Olympics, and then you've had the best years of your career. Now you're going back to the Olympics as one of the established top 100 breaststrokers in the world. What does that mean to you to have had this kind of success in this part of the career that was the bonus, basically?
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly right. I think I really tried to flip a switch in my brain to just think this is icing on the cake. Everything is icing on the cake, no matter what happens. And I still have goals. I still want to accomplish certain things. But if I were to retire today, that'd be terrible timing. But if I were to retire today, be happy with what I've accomplished and walk away, satisfied. And I think that's kind of a healthier mindset for me in particular to kind of approach, and making my second Olympic team is great, and I'm really looking forward to it. But I think I've been able to kind of enjoy the ride too, and these world championships and having success there, or World Cup, having success there, it's been something I never really thought of that I could accomplish. And so I think kind of being satisfied, and still having a hunger is a good way of kind of approaching it, because I feel like hinging all or nothing on the Olympics, on Olympic trials, I kind of I think that's what I did in 2016, and that was my worst meet. So I think kind of changing that mindset, flipping the switch to is all icing on the cake is kind of how I think about it.
Last question, Henry.
Thanks. Henry Bushnell from Yahoo Sports. Nic, I understand this is probably not where your mind is at tonight, but I wanted to ask you about the story that's been swirling around with the Chinese swimmers who tested positive for a banned substance, including one in your event, obviously. Mm-hmm. Is that something you've been following over the past few months? Where's your head at on it? And are you confident that your race in Paris is going to be clean?
I almost got out of here, before
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I've been following it. I think as a member of the AAC and committees for USA Swimming, I feel like I have to, or I take on I volunteer to take on some athlete representation, and so I try to follow it the best I can, and maybe I'm not on top of everything because I'm trying to balance all of that and other responsibilities like being in the pool as well. So I think my take on it is, USADA and has certainly raised a lot of fiery questions and statements about that whole thing, and I don't think they're the only one. I think there was a bunch of other anti-doping agencies that kind of came out and said, and kind of agreeing with what Katie Ledecky was quoted as saying, confidence is not very high in WADA right now, and I think that's certainly justified, and just from what I'm hearing from people who know more about it than I do. So I think they're probably trying to do the best they can. I know ITA is testing everybody, and I'd imagine that those Chinese swimmers were tested a lot in the past couple of years. So it's just one of those things where it's not about any particular swimmers or anything like that. It's just more about like the system and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know if I have any specific thoughts or anything like that, but I kind of agree with the sentiment going around that, things are, popping up and it's like, oh, well, that's interesting, or why did that happen, or, and, some of the decisions that were made are, certainly questionable, and, but yeah, I assume everyone's getting tested kind of going into it, and yeah, I mean, we may not know results for years, but it should be, hopefully it'll be clean as we can all hope as it would be.
Thank you, Nick.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.